Well, it's good to be with you tonight. I enjoyed the sermon this morning. And of course, Pastor Goat, I told him somewhere, I've got some pictures that I said I'm going to have to find. When I first came, the pictures, I've got some of him and his wife and myself, and that first, I think it was like the second time I came is when he came with the 2 different pairs of shoes on. And we were just standing there talking, and you probably heard the story, but he was standing there talking to him, and all of a sudden he looks down and he goes, oh! I said, what? He goes, look at that! I got on 2 different pairs of shoes. He said, I got to get on the golf cart and go home. And so at that point, that's when I named him Pastor Two Shoes. We talked about him all over the world. But those are precious memories, you know, precious things that stay in your heart. I'm thankful tonight. John has aggravated me about this song, so I got to sing it. If you heard it before, it's John's fault. Because during the revival last time, I didn't sing it because one night, I did sing it, but John didn't show up, so I had to sing it tonight. I mean, that's the way John is. God hears our prayers in the morning. He hears us at noonday. And at night when darkness hides the light of day, you can rest assured He's heard every prayer you pray. He's always near to hear, anytime, anywhere, anyway. Just call His name in prayer, then your answer's on the way. When you pray, believe, then receive what you believe. And remember, Jesus is just a prayer away. When I need Him the most, He bends closer to me. He knows my need and He's already calming my fears. He won't turn and walk away. He'll just send more grace my way. That's why I know He hears every prayer I pray. He's always near to hear, anytime, anywhere, anyway. Just call His name in prayer, then your answer's on the way. When you pray, believe, then receive what you believe. And remember, Jesus is just a prayer away. He's always near to hear, anytime, anywhere, anyway. And remember, Jesus is just a prayer away. Amen. Amen. Do you believe that tonight? That He's just a prayer away? I said I would explain, I'm going to take just a couple of minutes, about the RV. The only reason we're in the RV today is the brakes went out on the car, and I didn't think it would be too smart to drive the car. But I mean, it's bad enough in Sun City when the brakes work. But the RV that's out there, when Mom passed away in January, Dad and I, we sat down and we did a lot of talking and thinking about, you know, because I've been out here in the ministry 40 years. And traveling, and then we've been in the big bus that we were in it for 13. And I said, well, you know, if something happened to Dad, I don't want that big bus to have, I mean, it's a 40-foot bus, and the expense of that thing, and the thing of it was, if something breaks down, my dad can fix anything. So if you need something fixed, Dad can fix anything. And, but I said, if I didn't have him, I would be at the mercy of being towed in somewhere and being charged whatever to fix something that might not even be fixed. You know how that works when you're on the road. And so we were praying about it, and a lady and her family, they've been done our ministry for a long time, and her and I got to talking one night, and she said, what are you and Dad going to do? I said, what I'm doing? We're not going to change. I'm going to keep going. I've been called. I'm not going to quit. And she said, well, you going to stay in the bus? And I told her, I said, no, we're praying for a smaller RV. And she said, oh, well, my son, or my daughter and son-in-law have one that they're getting ready to sell. She said it's a 2005. It's got 21,000 miles on it. They just put new tires on it, just put a new roof cover thing on it. She said, I'll get a hold of him and he can send you pictures. So he sent me pictures. I looked at it and I thought, wow, that's really nice. It's what we want. And I told him, I said, you know, I don't have where I can just go to the bank and draw out the money to pay you. I got to sell the bus first. And so I told him, I said, go ahead and put it on the Craigslist and sell it. And I said, once the bus sells, if you still have it, you know, I'll get back in touch with you on it. That was on a Wednesday night. Well, on Friday, she called. She wanted to know if we were home. And I said, yes. She said, well, let's go up tomorrow and look at that motorhome. Okay. So she come and picked Dad and I up. We went and looked at the motorhome. And as we went in, her whole family was there. And as we went into the RV and sat and looked at it, she said, well, what do you think? And I said, it's really nice. It's got an 11-foot slide on the side. You know, I mean, it's really nice. And she said, well, we talked about it as a family. And she said, we want to give you and your dad the RV.
Wow.
I still pinch myself. We've had it since April, and Dad and I have put over 5,000 miles on it since we got it. I told the Lord, I said, you open the door, I'm going to go. I'm going to keep going. But I'm so blessed. And I said, to think that somebody, I don't know, just think that somebody would do that for us. You know, you just don't, that doesn't happen. I've never heard of anybody doing something like that. Nobody I ever knew. And I'm so thankful. And I told Dad, I said that and so many people have said since then, that's just God's answer, that you need to just keep doing what you're doing. You just need to pray for Dad because I drive it. And he only bites his fingernails to his elbows. He's okay. But I just wanted to share that with y'all tonight because it's such a blessing to us. And you know, God does answer your prayer. And He takes care of the things that we worry about that we're not supposed to. I should have sang this song this morning. I'm going to sing it a little bit. It's called Consider the Lilies. It would have went wrong with your message this morning. But I'm thankful for the Lord and for all He's done for us. And the longer I serve Him, the more I realize I got to serve Him a lot longer. Since I started for the kingdom, since my life He controls, since I gave my heart to Jesus, the longer I serve Him, the sweeter He grows. The longer I serve Him, the sweeter He grows. The more that I love Him, more love He bestows. Each day is like heaven, and my heart overflows. The longer I serve Him, the sweeter He grows. I like this verse. Every need He is supplying, plenty world think Jesus is coming soon? Amen. I was thinking about that storm today. I was looking how large that thing is. And they've not had anything on record like it before. And I'm like, you know, it's just another sign of the Lord coming back. And I just started singing this song about 2 months ago. Well, maybe not that long. So it's an old one, but I'm going to try it out on you tonight. Trouble sometimes are here, filling men's hearts with fear. Freedom we all hold dear, now is at stake. Humbling our hearts to God, safe from the chastening rod. Speak the way children from Christians away. Jesus is coming soon, morning or night or noon, and He will meet there too. Trumpets will sound, all of the dead shall rise, bright seed in the sky, going where no one dies, heavenward bound. Troubles will soon be o'er, happy forevermore, when we meet on that shore, free from all care, rising up in the sky, telling this world goodbye. Home we then shall fly, glory to share. Jesus is coming soon, morning or night or noon, and He will meet there too. Trumpets will sound, all of the dead shall rise, bright as seed in the sky, going where no one dies, heavenward bound. Jesus is coming soon, morning or night or noon, and He will meet there too. Trumpets will sound, all of the dead shall rise, bright as seed in the sky, going where no one dies, heavenward bound, heaven bound. Heavenward bound. I don't know about you, but I'm heavenward bound tonight. Amen. You know, Mom wrote a lot of songs that, and this is probably one of my favorites. I remember going through a time in my life when, even though I was serving the Lord and loving Him, I had gotten into a situation that I shouldn't have gotten myself into. You know, sometimes we as Christians, we think that we're invincible and that we are so close to God that nothing can happen. That's not always the case. And I found myself in a situation, and Mom wrote this song. It says, "Here Comes Jesus." And I'm so thankful that in that situation in my life, He came right on time, just like He always does. And if you're going through something tonight, He'll be there for you. He'll be on time. He's never late. I've always said He's never early, He's never late, He's right on time. We live in a world where everything is so fast-paced, and it's got to be our way as quick as possible. And it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes God says, no. We don't like that, so we ask for a second opinion. You're not going to get it. Because He's already said no. But I like what this song says tonight. When I needed Him the most, Jesus came. The sun will rise on the other side of your dark night, and the morning will reveal just what God's been doing through the night. And as you look back, you'll see the loving hand of God taking care of you through it all, guiding you back into His light. Here comes Jesus, help's on the way. Reach out and touch Him, He's passing by, don't be dismayed. Here comes Jesus, keep holding on. Here comes Jesus, help's on the way. Jesus lifts the fallen, those bent beneath their load. He hears their cry for help and comes to rescue them. He heals the broken-hearted, binding up their wounds. He's the God that rose from the tomb. He's near to all that call on Him. Here comes Jesus, help's on the way. Reach out and touch Him, He's passing by, don't be dismayed. Here comes Jesus, keep holding on. Here comes Jesus, help's on the way. Here comes Jesus, help's on the way. Reach out and touch Him, He's passing by, don't be dismayed. Here comes Jesus, keep holding on. Here comes Jesus, help's on the way. Here comes Jesus, help's on the way. Help's on the way. And I had another request tonight for God on the Mountain, and so we're gonna do that. Aren't you glad that He never changes?
Amen.
He's not a God that's a certain kind of God up here and a certain kind of God down there, and He's different over there. You know, I've met people like that in my life, that when there was certain people, they were a certain way, and when there was somebody else, they're a certain way. I'm kind of like, you know, I'm me. If you like me, like me. I can't live that way. I just got to be who I am. And it's always sad to see people that try to be everything to everybody, and that just doesn't work out. You know, you just have to be who God made you to be.
That's right.
And I'm thankful that even in the bad times and the good times, God never changes. He's always the same. I can remember the words. Life is easy when you're up on the mountain and you've got peace of mind like you never know. But down in the valley of trials and temptation, that's when your faith is really put to the test. For the God on the mountain is still God in the valley when things go wrong. He'll make them right, and the God of the good times is still God in the bad times. The God of the day is still God in the night. You talk of faith when you're up on the mountain. Oh, but the talk comes so easy when life's at its best. But then things change and you're down in the valley. That's when your faith is really put to the test. For the God on the mountain is still God in the valley when things go wrong. He'll make them is still God in the night. The God of the day is still God in the night. I'm going to sing you one more song, and the pastor's coming to minister to us tonight. Don't you love your pastor? I told his wife this morning, Sherry and I were talking, I said, I wish that she would have gotten to know Sister Gold in her heyday. Because we were talking about her before church, and I said, I remember she'd be up here on this platform in that welcome song. I mean, she was all through the everybody, you know, the welcome song. She's like the Energizer Bunny going out through there and hyper, and I just loved her so much. And I was thinking about that this morning when y'all were honoring him, and I'm so thankful that, you know, we need to honor those that need to be honored while they're here. Amen. And let them know how much they're loved. And I like this song. I thought about this morning when George was preaching on worry this morning. Well, oh, you weren't preaching on, yeah, whatever. Don't y'all think when he teaches Sunday school, he kind of like preaches? Don't y'all think he does that? Yeah, well, you don't have a license, but you do it anyway. But as he was teaching that, this song actually was written from that Matthew chapter 6. And I thought this morning, wow, I should have thought that after I was going home. I thought, I should sing this one. So I thought I would end up with that tonight. This is a song I've been singing since I was probably 12, 14 years old. And it just talks about, consider the lilies. When you see the flowers and what God does for them, you realize how much more important you are to them. Consider the lilies, they don't toil nor spin, but there's not one king with more splendor than them. Consider the sparrows, they don't plant nor sow, but they're fed by the Master who watches them grow. We have a heavenly Father above, with eyes full of mercy and a heart full of love. He really cares when your head is bowed low. Consider the lilies, and then you will know. May I introduce you to this friend of mine who hangs out the stars, tells the sun when to shine, and he kisses the flowers each morning with dew. But family, I want to tell you something. He's never too busy to care about you. We have a heavenly Father above, with eyes full of mercy and a heart full of love, and he really cares when your head is bowed low. Consider the lilies, and then you will know. Consider the lilies, and then you will